secret spot. Y voy a pasarla bien y no pensar en nada, y no pensar en nada, y no pensar en nada. Porque a veces pienso tanto que me olvido de dar gracias cuando me levanto. A veces pienso tanto que me olvido de pensar en mí, que me olvido hasta de dormir, hey. Así que no se asusten si desaparezco un rato bien lejos, yo me lo merezco. No me hablen de trabajo, no me hablen de escuela, que yo subí el ancla y abrí la vela. Puedo ver el paraíso llegando Isabela, un mango de Mayagüe después pa' la palguera. Puerto Rico se ve lindo hasta en Google Maps, y hoy le quiero dar la vuelta con Sunset y con Gaps. Lo que traigo es vibra linda, no quiero frontear. Pa' la baby yo después saco un disco de trap. No me busques que no me vas a encontrar, no me vas a encontrar, no, no. Me fui de vacaciones con muchas cervezas y canciones. Un shot por las buenas amistades y por las bendiciones. Y se te hace poner feo, tú me lo haces bonito. Ya no pido más deseos, tengo todo lo que necesito. Hey, ya no pido más deseos, tengo todo lo que necesito. Soy el fruto del hacer del oeste y no niego extrañar un poco el antes. Debo buscar la paz en quien no reste, quien no me reste, yeah. Me cansé, odio tantas preguntas. Cambié, pero no me disgusta. Sabía que iba a pasar desde las 12 y desde entonces a ahora y hasta nunca. Me cansé, odio tantas preguntas. Cambié, pero no me disgusta. Sabía que iba a pasar desde las 12 y desde entonces a ahora y hasta nunca. preguntas. Cambié, pero no me disgusta. Sabía que iba a pasar desde los 12 y desde entonces ahora y hasta nunca. Me cansé, odio tantas preguntas. Cambié, pero no me disgusta. Sabía que iba a pasar desde los 12 y desde entonces ahora y hasta nunca. Del oeste y no niego extrañar un poco el antes. Debo buscar la paz en quien no reste, quien no me reste. Yeah. Toda la mañana en el club, todo el mundo pasando la cabrón. La mujer encima de mí, la juca, la pastilla y un blon. La que yo quiera dice que sí, bien loco cantando la canción. Después de aquí nos vamos pa'. ¿Qué estará haciendo mi ex? Que hace tiempo por ahí no se ve. ¿Será que ya me superó y le va bien? Mientras que yo, borracho, pienso que estará haciendo mi ex. Que hace tiempo por ahí no se ve. ¿Será que ya me superó y le va bien? Mientras que yo, borracho, pienso que diablo estará haciendo, estará jangueando, estará durmiendo, estará fumando, estará bebiendo, seguirá sola o está saliendo con otro que no soy yo, no soy yo, mami, ese no soy yo, no soy yo. Aposté que te olvidé y perdí 500, otra vez me ganaron los sentimientos. Los muchachos piensan que yo estoy contento, pero no, estoy muerto por dentro. La disco está llena y la vacía, porque no está la nena mía con la que yo siempre me reía, con la que yo siempre me venía, con la que yo hablaba todos los días. Y ahora no sé nada, y ahora no sé nada. Ay, ¿qué estará haciendo mi ex? Que hace tiempo por ahí no se ve. ¿Será que ya me superó y le va bien? Mientras que yo, borracho, pienso. Yo le pedí a Dios, pero él también me batió. El futuro me golpeó, en el pasado me dejó. Felicidad se alejó y me pregunto qué estará haciendo. Si en mí estás pensando, o si la luna está viendo con otra persona.
Let's turn this up a little bit. Thomas? I just decided.
La chimbita saber dónde están, que peleen la nalguita como chinchan, se sientan en la silla del huracán. Viper, no confía en nada, ey, hoy to perder, son de botega, me llega a la casa, por ser mi entrega. Carolina, Tata y Marcela, toda boutique, toda marquiela, uy, toda caen, domingo, oye, viernes, van pa'l club, they are shining, hoy tienen show, son ellas las que hacen el gol, ey, hacen fila para el VIP, todos los tacos, las tenis de Louis V. Ellas llegaron sorneras en SUV, todas caras, diamantes, anillo rubí, ey,
All right, what's good? What's up, Tradetopia? Let's do the thing. Let's go. All right, and we're off. Here we go. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Had to get the energy up. Morning. All right, we got. What's up, Jesus? Anyone in oil buys? I was snoozing, man. Wasn't able to get that. I want to kick our session off with this yesterday's newsletter. Basically every Monday morning, I have one come out now. Got a good rhythm going here, and so this one has to do more with why traders, like how you can really become someone that does much significantly better at not taking L's or taking losses like a champ. So here is the link to this. I think everyone, if you're not like, if you want to make sure you don't miss one, then I do recommend you guys check it out here. If you're pretty good at being in the school community, then obviously pull up over there. But otherwise, I would suggest you subscribe to the newsletter here. Get it directly to your email. But yeah, I'll usually like to read these here. But yeah, this one really has to do with building your, like, the callus of losses, like being able to get kind of numb to it. And at the end of the day, like, no one wants to feel pain, but in order to be consistent, in order to be who you need to be in this game, you do have to learn how to carry a loss, or not even carry it, but be able to have it and let it go. So my example really here goes, and it's kind of like the gym where your hands are going to start to callus and blister when you're getting used to holding the bar and doing all these different types of exercises. But you end up building a callus. You end up, the weight you started with doesn't hurt as much anymore. And so with the trading, learning how to lose is definitely, if not maybe the hardest skill to actually build. So it hurts on all different levels, like different parts of your, ego, different parts of the internal kind of get bruised when you take losses, and it could be for different reasons. So it all comes down to exposure. And, a couple years back, 8 years ago, I knew this trader who he wouldn't move his stop loss, and he had big issues with it. And so he would just always constantly move it. And then a few months went by, and I remember we were actually like physically together at a event, and I remember he had his his eyes glued to his screen, like up to his phone. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm just watching it hit the stop loss. Like, I need to see it happen," because he realized like his biggest issue wasn't hitting stop loss; it was the way in which he was. And so I just watched him, just like he was just nuts, just watching it hit his stop loss. And then once it did, he was like, "Okay, all right, good." I was like, "Okay, that's weird." And then it just throughout the couple days, it was the same thing. Hit some winners, hit some losses, and then, but that really helped me understand, like, okay, if you really want to make changes, like, you do have to do what's required there, and suffering is definitely a skill. So learning how to change your perception around it is huge, big time. So most traders, they don't blow accounts because they don't know what to do. I honestly think eventually I think eventually, like, you learn to understand, okay, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong, but I don't know how to change this behavior. So if you don't have that callus, like, it doesn't really heal. Like, you can't really build upon it. So you have to give yourself a chance to compound, to grow. So yeah, if you struggle with stop losses, like one of the things that I've talked about here plenty of times is just like understanding it's not punishment. Like stop loss isn't you did something bad. It's capital preservation, right? It's protection. That's all that it is. Like the reason we put it there isn't like, oh, got it wrong. Here's your punishment. It's, hey, like you decided how much you were willing to put on risk here. It invalidated your idea. So let's take the loss because now the idea just doesn't work anymore. It's not valid. So let's take a small loss and then live to trade another day. And so the more I think you take ownership over it, the more you embrace that the discomfort sometimes in the moment, the frustration of the loss, but you're able to just still have it. It's like you won another round in the match, right? You won another round in the fight. So even if you got, you took a punch to the face, it's like, all right, cool, but you're still standing. And, you learn how to work with it. So can't avoid pain, guys, in trading. You can train yourself, though, to understand it better and to understand it's kind of it's you can't work around it. It is what it is. So that's the callus of suffering right there, guys. Build it and the market won't break you. So there it is, guys. Drop the link there if you guys want those for yourselves to read at any time. Just get the email. In my opinion, I think having these psychology, like just being able to have this for you, it just goes a long way, super long way. So yeah, feel free to subscribe to that. Okay, so let's get into the charts. Etsy yesterday had a huge jump. I won't go into stocks right away, but big moves there. If you've been picking up some of that with me here the last couple years, or the last year. Okay. Now, let's look at a few things. We have NASDAQ and Dow that we'll look at right away. With NASDAQ, yesterday, basically, we had New York open just go wild, right? It picked up a lot of momentum, started to just fly to the upside before everything kind of shifted. So I see a huge buying opportunity up to here. This liquidated tons of momentum. We played all the way up to here, cleared out these highs as well, and then barely, but we did cross above these highs right over here. So you could consider this liquidity as well. Actually, I hadn't seen that these are really, really, really close. So, damn, this is actually annoying. But I would have wanted to sell in here. I might, depending on how we work our way up here, I may or may not take this anymore. Definitely with less risk, but we do have huge moves that liquidate the highs, and then you see kind of another last big push up here before everything starts to crumble down. So we'll kind of see how we work our way, how we move throughout this area. Just because NASDAQ has struggled to work its way higher and higher, it's been pretty mellow in this kind of movement. We've seen trendline liquidity build up around here, so I do think we can clear these highs and possibly reject out of here. But because of this liquidity, I want to see how everything opens. I want to see how the market moves before considering any ideas. Now, we have a couple interesting things too, because we saw during the London session a nice spike down. The market then chops up. We see pullbacks into here, and then we get another continuation. You get another pullback here, fills in balance, mitigates here, another continuation. So the market's choppy but efficient so far. And if we take this to Dow Jones, it's a similar process. Dow has done a really good job of trading out of this area. So like, for example, yesterday we saw Dow during London, make this high. Then during New York session or before, kind of saw a double top before everything just crashed. So massive imbalance created over here. We are still definitely have more liquidity stacking up throughout this area. So there's definitely retail buyers here. You have, the London session was very choppy. Asian session highs here. I do think we can feel some more of this imbalance. But what also we have is we had Dow mitigate over here. So anyone that had some buys lined up, you got your setup right there beautifully during London session. But this spike down here, we get it filled before the market just continues and rallies. So I do think we could get a decent buying opportunity right here with Dow. It doesn't seem to me, it doesn't seem like we've mitigated this sell-off yet. We cleared these lows, so we took out buyers from the zone. Got them out of the game. And that's why I kind of want to see how we have Dow and NASDAQ kind of go and open today. We have New York open here in 2 minutes. To give you also some perspective, I want to get into sells, but I got to find the right place too, and because we have been decently bearish over here. But let's zoom out a little bit, right? Remember, where are we actually kind of trading from? Like, what's the overall perspective? So just to give some, we had on Thursday and Friday that big spike down. The market then starts trading away up here. We do a great job at not staying at these lows, so I do think we're overall bullish. And then we have been filling these imbalances over and over and over again. That's with Dow. S&P, on the other hand, though, I think can drop some more. We don't quite rebalance all the way over here with S&P. And then the same thing goes here with NASDAQ. I do think we still have some imbalance left over. I wouldn't be surprised if we work our way lower at any moment. That's why I do like shorts at some point if we get evidence. So if I'm gonna take buys, then I'm down for a nice play, conservative risk reward. Shorts, however, just feel like we need to still rebalance a bit more over here. So I am open to shorts. So maybe we clear liquidity, take out Asian London session highs, and then make a reversal. And yeah, so we'll see. So we have, New York Open happening right now. Let's see how the market starts to print here to kick things off. So we got Dow Jones making its move to the upside. And we have NASDAQ also, a little light push. So based on how it's opening right now, seeing the classic inverted correlation to kick things off, which has been happening more than ever this year from just my experience. So how would we approach a possible short? You have an order block over here, so we might see the market reject this in this area. Like had like one bullish move before it just bled out again. So you could see something like that there. Right now, we're starting to see, you know, Dow take out some of this liquidity playing up into here. Look at that. Huge sweep of these previous highs. Not quite taking out the Asian session highs yet, but got pretty close. Loses a whole bunch of momentum. Now it's working its way down just like NASDAQ. NASDAQ filling imbalance. For me, I don't love this buy here for NASDAQ because we just don't really take out much liquidity. So as much as it's rebalancing here, it's not really an entry for me. Could have been a good exit if there was a setup or something. But, yeah, not just something I would just pull the trigger on confidently. All right, what's up, Harshi? Maury. What up, guys? Maury, I think I messaged you, man. I know you applied for the syndicate, so I shot you a message. Lonzo, what's good? What up, Ruben? Miss Jones, how's it going? What's good, Seth? Gabriel, Joe, Jesus. What up, Friso? What's good, Luis? How are you, man? Happy Tuesday. Oil buys, blipped. What's up, Film Away? Edwin, what's good, Corey? Taco Tuesday, yes, sir. What's happening? What's happening, Brandon? Saving up the capital for the syndicate. Brandon, I think you should apply so we can have a conversation and set some goals up, man. Because that way you just have exactly like what to expect. All right. So right now we're definitely going in opposite directions. Dow clearing liquidity or looking to up here. I want to see a sweep of these highs, and let's see if we can kind of get a shakeout. If we take out liquidity and fill in balance, we just might be able to see something like this, you know, and then take our sell down. So something like this is possible. Same thing with NASDAQ here. NASDAQ, I feel like if it's going to keep pushing down, like this, then I wonder if we either clear London lows and then we also could see the liquidity capture and then the market reaccumulate, or if that's going to take us straight down to this area. So if what we could do is let's go see if there's an actual like quality entry over here. All right, so yeah, if you look at NAS, like this was NAS from last Friday. We definitely push down, you know, we play out of here. I talked about entries in here, but I wanted to see Dow further down. We didn't get that. It respected this. And then we got the reaccumulation over here. The Dow or NASDAQ over here, basically we see a small move down before we just have the imbalance. So taking an entry here, like this is really where we get the push down. And then the market gives us just a whole bunch of choppiness. I can't say with conviction that we're going to get a big mitigation out of this zone, but I could see us just kind of rebalancing out of here and then running. So I would use this as just an area of interest to kind of see what does the market do when it gets down to this imbalance, or if it gets down to this imbalance. So kind of like this zone in general, I think in this area, if we can kind of see some sort of shift in momentum over here, that could definitely be of value. So I would be interested in seeing something go down over here. Now, look at what we're seeing, guys. We just saw Dow, you know, take out this liquidity, the trend line liquidity here, breaking through a bit. Not quite, I'd say, clearing out these highs, but definitely starting to lose some momentum. And in the meantime, we have NASDAQ starting to get close to clearing these London lows. So, I wonder if we end up getting below, this area, like let's say we get even here with S&P, right? These are the London lows. So, are we going to clear these lows? Is NASDAQ going to push even lower, Because right now, for example, if you look at this and all of this choppiness, people that take buys, they're placing their stop loss below this low, below this low, below this low. So if we see NASDAQ clear London session lows, that could take us down to this area with Dow Jones where we could take our buy positions. So I am open to buying. Definitely open to buying Dow. It's just I just want everything to line up, right? So we look at that. We're seeing NASDAQ clear liquidity now, get below those lows. Dow is holding up its area pretty well, to be honest. It's holding up pretty well. So let's see if the market gives us, because again, all we have really is just a theory. That's all it is. It's just a theory on where the market could go and where smart money can come in. So let's see. All right. Now that NQ is taking out these lows, Dow isn't really dropping that same way, which is unfortunate. So might have to just be extra patient here. S&P still chilling. I have an alert if it does clear these lows. I'm curious if it's going to get below this soon though, because now we're starting to build up a nice trend line liquidity here too. So I'm, going to wait it out. Now outside of that, let's take a look at a couple of things. We had our oil trade, if you guys remember. Hopefully you had alerts set. Maybe for my traders out there in Europe, you guys might have been the ones that really got to take advantage of this. But yeah, we finally got back to our zone over here. We mitigated that oil buy. So if you guys look at your charts that we went over. Yesterday I took a loss on oil here. So took an L on this. That's my only trade for the week so far. So 0 for 1. And then our oil buy that we wanted from down here, this one really did play out. And then it mitigated, came back to rebalance, and then ran again. So if you're going with reduced risk, then you would have nicely stayed within this one and then, kept this going. So by now, a trade like this really looks more like, oh man, what a good setup. Anyone in this one? This one was definitely quality. Tight stop for sure on a trade like this, but definitely with rewards. So depending on your entry, you're looking at least 4R at some point, 3R for sure. Even if you took it at the open, you're looking at, or near it, about a 2R as well. So kind of depends obviously on your entry model, but great setup. Would have made back yesterday's oil buys and then some for sure. So S&P efficiency. So S&P dropped down, rebalanced really nicely here. Didn't target any more London lows or anything like that. And then it looks like we got a good bounce out of there. So now that NASDAQ has cleared London lows, I'm curious if we end up getting a shakeout out of here or something like that too. We clear the lows. Is this where we see, NASDAQ go up and then Dow go down? Is this where we start to see everything kind of shift price action as well? So I feel like I want to see what happens. I want to see if we end up pushing right away and we kind of see no demand over here and this just starts to fly. So we'll take a look at that. Now, in regards to this oil setup, sorry to go back and forth here, but in regards to this oil play, we got the nice move back down, immediately comes back up again, and then we've traded up here kind of back and forth pretty aggressively throughout the last 40 minutes or so. From what I'm looking at is, despite our bullish moves here, the market just really doesn't have a lot of demand. Like, it spikes up, it doesn't hold. It spikes up, it doesn't hold. So I'm not in love with holding this or to take this, any new entries or anything like that. Yeah, I don't really love it. So not looking to re-engage with oil anytime right now. I'm chilling on this. Yeah, the shorts is really what we're going to be looking for. Like, if we see the market back up here in the future, then yeah, we definitely have some selling opportunities way up here later on. So it's going to be a matter of patience more than anything. Yeah, quite a bit of a lot of chop. So holding it down there. Then that brings us to, let's take a look at some possible plays with metals over here. The market came down to this area during London. It's been just working its way higher and higher and higher. So not quite where I wanted gold buys, which was over here. We had that big sell-off. We're kind of rallying pretty quickly. We definitely have some interesting plays, though. There's potential here. So if you guys are looking at how the market kind of made its low during London, it's going to be no surprise to be able to notice where the market sells off. So you see a very intentional, aggressive sell here. So the market, quickly pushes down. This is a sign of smart money entering, liquidating equal lows here. So we get a nice little liquidity sweep. Very nice. From here, the market continues, goes bullish. We're seeing higher highs on the 1 minute at least. And then as we squeeze here, the market then continues to rise. All right, we're still seeing an increase. So I could see us mitigating this zone down here in the near future. Curious to see if we have a push back down and then another area for a bounce. Obviously, I do think this is still valid as well. So I'm not going to go for an aggressive reward on a setup like this. And then if you look at silver also looking to make its way higher. It did play out of this imbalance, this sell-off, the same timing of it, and then now it's pushing higher. However, gold is just more bullish. So at some point, I do think we can clear a lot of this like trendline liquidity and then work our way down to this zone. So this is definitely valid for me. And kind of like I mentioned, NASDAQ did exactly what I just talked about. We got the sell-off, swept London session lows. I wasn't too eager to get in right away. So yes, we came down, came right back up, little pullback, played out of here, and then now we're running. So what I want to see is NASDAQ chop up in here. Just like kind of hold demand, and then when we get a pullback, I'm in there. Then I like the move. So if you can get something like this, I'm for it. Yeah, this is kind of what I want to see here. And then we can take out the trend line liquidity. We can take out the Tokyo highs. So I'm with it. What we're starting to see now as well is now we're getting Dow. Dow just cleared Asian session highs for the first time, and it's starting to work its way up into this imbalance. Okay. So let's see what type of price action we get here as well. All right, let's give it some time. If NASDAQ starts to pull back, I'll have an alert here too as well. Okay. So with that being said, got a radar on gold. So make sure you guys are marking this up. You're drawing your lines out, your zones, entry zones. And then going back to majors, we're starting to get this here. So let's go take a look at this. Swiss franc, pretty choppy. A lot of liquidity up here. I'm not really looking to get into anything there. NZD definitely slow to work its way up. It's just slowly grinding to the upside. Oh, actually, I think it's just my internet. Here we go. All right, I think I'm back now. Something happened with my internet there. That was weird. Okay, so let me just move these candles. So look at what we just had happen, guys. We just saw Dow Jones clear liquidity, take out Tokyo highs here, get into this imbalance. Is this going to set us up for a sell-off? Is this the liquidity capture that it needed for Dow to set up for shorts? Despite Dow kind of being the more bullish one this whole time, does it make sense? Meanwhile, we'll see how this kind of plays out. So now we're starting to see it drop off, which is fine. We're seeing NASDAQ now play into this zone as well, like I wanted us to get down to. So will we see NASDAQ buy out of here and run, or do we need to see Dow Jones go lower? So I'm willing to take a shot at NASDAQ here. I think we could see a good play out of this area. It's just a matter of, being able to get in with this with the proper contract size, the risk that you feel is responsible here as well. All right, so I'm going to take a stab at this in this area. I think we could see a nice play out of here. Let's see how it goes. All right. So yeah, I like it. I like the play. I think honestly, if it would have been Dow, it probably would have been even better. But didn't really have a setup there. So gonna run this one up here with and look at that. We're already starting to see the rejection right out of here with Dow already starting to respect the imbalance fill and pulling up. So we may see this go further and further along. If NASDAQ plays out, it's more of a shakeout setup is what we're kind of looking for there. So let's see. Yeah, let's see what this thing turns into. Clearly, we're seeing a lot more momentum with Dow to the upside. And Q not holding up. Honestly, not really good signs for this one based on the way it's moving. I did think we had a nice sweep down. The market moved up, chopped up here. The only downside, I guess, to this shakeout setup was that we just didn't trade up here for too long. We had just a couple of minutes, so 4 or 5 minutes. To validate this, we could have waited to get a bit more demand at these levels. But this is doing the typical break, retest, introducing sellers, and then, you know, we're at a pretty deep pullback for possible buys. So, yeah, this one may not hold. I think I could have been a bit more patient with the demand. Either way, I didn't risk my full amount, like I mentioned, right? I went in with less risk. So that's fine. I'm okay with that. Kind of worth a shot for me in this case. So let's see here. Let's see if this thing's going to rally from this zone or not. What the heck? All right, weird. So right now, sitting in some drawdown. Got my stop over here. Let's see what S&P looks like too. Whoa, that's not S&P. S&P, pretty similar. It's just kind of chopping up in here. So from the looks of it, let's see. I think with this trade could end up taking a loss if S&P is going to want to go lower. So if S&P is going to, for example, like S&P is really efficient. Yeah, that's basically the L right there. There it goes. Okay, cool. So loss on NASDAQ. And honestly, right after we took it, I kind of saw, I was like, yeah, fuck. Like this thing was not at demand for that long. So this may be what's it called? This may be some like this one probably won't play out then. So cool. It is what it is. So that's like a 1.5 R on the week for me, negative. And I think at this point, the best thing that we can do is to continue to wait. Because now look at how, not just NASDAQ, but S&P. And this is why demand is so valuable. We saw it clear the low. We saw it work its way up here. So signs were good. The market was traded up here for too brief. It wasn't trading up here long enough. So like my trading view froze and everything like that. And then I think that kind of just threw off my perception on time, since everything froze and then everything just quickly populated. I think that kind of just threw me off a little bit, but that's on me. But now we're almost at this point where S&P is about to clear London lows. So if S&P gets below here, I wonder where that takes. Where that's going to take Dow Jones. So it's funny. We're getting kind of like setups for. So for example, like NQ kind of gave us the shakeout play, but it was more bearish than everything else. Dow takes out the highs because it's the most bullish. But then, it's coming right back up so I think people are going to want to sell this. But the problem is that NASDAQ now has all of this that it can run and take out all of these highs as well. So selling Dow Jones as much as, it takes out the highs, etc., I don't think is a good idea. And, there we go. So, funny enough, I think we're better off just kind of waiting for the market to give us the exact setups that we need following the correlation too. So taking the buy here, even though like now, it would be back in like right around entry, it just wasn't going to hold this enough. So basically, I think for now, looking for sells on NQ really are the only options. And then waiting for some sort of buy to qualify for Dow would be the only option as well. Let's see where we're at. We had Euro, right, play out of here from Thursday. This was last week's. Australian mitigated the zone nicely. Not one that I was willing to take at all because, like I mentioned yesterday, we had some key areas here. So Australian had this zone, but also NZD has the same zone. So I'm waiting for NZD to get up here before we short this thing. Why all my stuff is mixed around? So weird. It's like someone went in here and just moved around on my watch list. But yeah, with that being said, guys, like right now, like there's some of these setups are like really on fire. Like we now have the market is giving us completely different plays. So, for example, if you take a look at Australian here, huge spike down during London, massive move, and then it ran. So, could we get a buy setup out of Australian here if it comes back down to these areas? I think that's definitely possible. I don't want to see kind of where it's at around these areas here. It's been really bullish. I think between all of the dollar pairs here, Australian is just ripping pretty well, other than also the yen. The yen is also pushing really, really well. But we saw that huge move. The yen didn't really spike down the same way. It was already bullish before that. The yen here had a lot of liquidity, had a lot of sideways movement. We saw a big push down here, and then the market just ripped. So the yen has a lot of imbalance to go look for. It's been on an absolute just rampage here. So there's a possibility that we see some good buy scenarios out of it, like right there. So let's see where the yen's at. Let's see how the Australian moves here in the future. Those are the two that kind of pique my interest. Updates here, guys. So we're seeing, the Dow Jones ripping to the upside, filling this imbalance as we mentioned that it could. We're seeing NASDAQ after another push below. So here we were liquidity. Rest in peace. My ego, definitely bruised here. I think his stream crashed or froze or something. Can you guys hear me now or no? Back. Okay, cool. I'm in that oil buy. Nice, Seth. Let's go. I don't know how that trade's going now, but good catch at least. How is that oil trade going? Is it holding up? Nice. There we go. Coming back. Sick. So yeah, right now, I gifted. I had to be the liquidity apparently. Self-sacrifice, of course. And now we're seeing NASDAQ rally. So maybe if this thing just really takes over bullet on the bull side of things, then maybe we see something there. But for now, just going to stay composed here. Dow, another high, getting up to the imbalance, starting to lose some momentum. NASDAQ also starting to lose some momentum. So nothing new yet. For shorts, basically, I want to see NQ take out these highs, and then we can look for sells here. Because at this point, if it stays like this and NASDAQ keeps going higher and Dow is going higher at a faster pace, then we could see this mitigate and actually give us a pretty decent short. But obviously, we have to just wait and see what price action is looking like. Because right now, look, Dow is losing this. It's just dropping, and Q is not. So these might come back to get back on the same page here shortly. For all we know, NASDAQ could take out these highs and then set up, and Dow may not trade the same way. Dow might keep going down, and then we may see a shakeout with Dow. So let's see. I'm gonna have my alerts here if we start to take out these highs. Anyone have a wider stop on NASDAQ and just actually survive this by any chance? Trying to climb. All right. Okay. In the meantime, we've covered basically all the big ones. What we haven't gone into yet is a little bit of crypto. So Bitcoin here, after yesterday, we saw it, climb above 114, traded up here. It traded up here for a bit. So we saw higher highs for, during New York session for a while, during Asian session, and then we started to trade downwards. So right now we saw the imbalance fill over here. Market tries to push up before losing momentum again. So the question is this: is this enough? Does Bitcoin create enough evidence here to give us, is this enough proof that we're bullish? That the 1 hour time frame is now bullish? Is this enough evidence yet? We got up here, and then we got back down. Then we got up here again, and we traded up here for 9 hours or so. Got up, came right back down, and then we got back to this imbalance. So I'm not fully convinced this isn't this isn't giving me conviction. This looks like a sweep of the highs, lures in buyers, and then it sells off. So Bitcoin, at least, I'm not quite convinced. ETH as well, definitely not. Market got up to here and lost its momentum. So it kind of looks like it's going to distribute. Solana, same thing, not quite getting anything there. So unfortunately, I'm not fully sold on this yet. So I'm going to keep waiting here. I'm going to stay patient on these ideas. Maybe we come back later, maybe not. But for now, if you're going to wait to take more, if you're going to add positions for investments, or if you're going to look for a trade, I'd say just kind of stay patient on the buys. Let us get some really, really clear confirmations. Okay, so check it out. Now, Dow is definitely coming down with a lot more bearish momentum relative to NASDAQ. This is dropping significantly more aggressively. This is now starting to look like a potential shakeout. The market here looks like it's, is it going to work its way all the way down to here or not? We're seeing as quickly as NASDAQ went down, it came right back up. Again, NASDAQ for me here, not enough proof for me to buy this thing. Yeah, not yet. And maybe this is the one where it does work out, whatever. But same thing. Like we don't get higher highs. We don't trade up here for too long. We don't create demand. So, obviously learning from this mistake over here. Although this could maybe it plays out, but it's still not enough. S&P, though, on the 1 minute just keeps rebalancing and rallying. So, who knows? Dow, though, does look like there's just more liquidity building up here. So, I feel like this is going to keep pushing lower. So, I'm staying out for now. NASDAQ playing out of where we have these last points of supply. So, we had support over here. Some more support over here after this was swept. So giving a nice bounce where we've seen historically good reversals. So it's making a nice little move right now. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to last, but it's given a nice bounce so far. Looking at Dow with this liquidity, to me it seems like we're going to go lower. And that could set up our initial buys ideas that we had here when we started the session. So, Snapchat below 8. Okay, sick. So let's move some things around here. Spotify down, Intel down a little bit. Or is Snapchat? Here we go. Perfect. All right. So like I said, for our stocks challenge, I was waiting to see what we had. If we can get Snapchat under $8 again, honestly, 770, like 5-ish, ideally. So I think you guys are gonna get my first pick. It's between that or ENPH here, which has been, since it's been squeezing so much for a while now. I am leaning towards one or the other, so I am gonna upload this. I'm gonna give my final decision here today. So we will have our stocks challenge here kick things off as well. Gaming took a big dump. Lyft. Nothing on Lulu. All right, cool. So I'll give you guys an update. CMG. All right, so check this out. Now that Dow took out liquidity, it's starting to work its way down a bit more. I'm not convinced yet on anything. I want to get down to here for buys. I want to see for a buy here, the one that's like ready to go. I want to see what if S&P can clear any of these lows as well. This was a pretty decent liquidity sweep though for ES, like taking out a lot of the London buyers. However, there's still more here. So the game of patience continues. Chipotle stock. Chipotle. Oh, you know what? I remember we talked about Chipotle a while ago. I was waiting for a zone down here. I don't know if we're going to get here, but I see, kind of where we're at now. I don't really necessarily have any entries on Chipotle yet. Imbalance fills. Oh, yeah, I had this zone marked up in case we came back over here. ICP. I don't care for ICP personally. It's just not something that I'm invested into. I haven't invested in these last like 4 or 5 years. I don't like the tokenomics on ICP, so I don't buy any ICP. I could see buys for Chipotle. I get it. In the imbalance over here, daily structure for sure, especially with this like nice little sell off right there. Dumped and then rallied. Here you're in like in an order block as well. Financially, if I remember correctly, it looks decent. Here was just a big sell from March where I feel like we never really came back to. So I'm gonna wait for this, and that's like my mindset is we have so many things to choose from. I don't need to be involved in an average entry. Like I don't need to ever force an entry. Like for example, this has potential drawdown of I'd say 15, maybe even 20%. I don't really need to get involved in drawdown like that. Whereas when we take entries, for example, when we took our plays with Intel, right? With Intel, we didn't have much drawdown really to deal with, like max 5% drawdown maybe in this range. And look at where we're at now. Nice mitigation. When we bought Etsy early in the year, kind of waiting for the zone, you know what's crazy? I marked this up in October, and I nailed the entry to the exact, like to the pennies. And then the drawdown here, this one I was willing to have bigger drawdown, but we had previous levels of support over here, etc. So I kind of had more. I just had more to work with. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that I'm looking for is how do I create environments where we have the least amount of drawdown potential with just great opportunity. So even here with the solar play, it was like, okay, taking an entry in this area here or here, max drawdown is kind of what I can get into. So this is what I was open to taking. So that's how I think about it. With Chipotle, I don't think it's a bad entry for like dollar cost average, but if you're going to go in with some weight, going heavy, then I'm okay with waiting a little longer. And I think that's just the way that you want to look at it is, am I going to go in with a lot of my capital? Do I want just some exposure to this idea? So like on the 1 hour, the 1 hour looks good. And balance fill, take it. It's like a trade, right? But is this where things are going to turn around for Chipotle? For the stock itself? I don't know. Let me look at how price action looked like over here. So if we look back, for example, we had a sell-off right there. The market went a little bit lower. Some liquidity actually still here. And then it gapped up, filled this imbalance right there. Didn't quite get back down to here, and then just rallied. This is in March of 2023. And then we just kind of never came back to where the market started to sell off from. Just a lot of imbalance here. So, and then on top of that, my mindset is there's always more opportunity. So if it doesn't play out, or if this thing runs without me, I'm okay with that. All right, so it looks like Dow bouncing nicely out of here, already taking off about 60 points or so. S&P also squeezing a lot, held up when it pulled back down to here. NASDAQ also holding up and starting to push higher. So, this looks like a potential reaccumulation. The liquidity down here is just what's kind of bothering me. And then we did have a nice sell-off over there. So, if this thing runs without me, then it is what it is. And then regards to ICP, yeah, and I've gone over this several times because I know like some of the and I have friends that buy ICP in communities, and I know that are like invested into this. I've said it since the beginning that it wasn't something I was interested in at all, because of the tokenomics. It's like, and you can always look at it based off of market cap. So for example, right now this is at $4.15 with a market cap of 2.2 billion. Right? Let's say 2.3 billion. Well, in the past, 2.3 billion would give you a price of, let's see, like 2.3 billion just in April of last year or May of last year. So here, I'll show you. In May of last year, 2.3 billion puts you at $13, whereas now 2.3 billion has you at 4. So it's not great. So it just takes so much more. Like it's just too much. Like so much more keeps circulating with and the market just needs so much movement. So yeah, that's why I've avoided this. It doesn't make sense tokenomics wise. So yeah, I'm good on this. All right. So yeah, these are ripping now. So now we saw takes out the lows, plays into this imbalance. I could see some of you maybe looking to, did anyone buy? Anyone buy here? I get it. I can see it. We dropped down aggressively, came right back up. As I mentioned from the beginning, Dow has been the bull this whole time. So I'd be more inclined for buys on Dow. It's just a matter of getting enough information. Bought S? Nice. You did buy. Good stuff, guys. I'm long on Dow. Post a picture. Where'd you post that? Somewhere in here? Nice. Nice. Well done. Good job, Peter. Took a gold entry on gold too. Oh, nice. Sniped it. A little pullback. Well done. Well done. What are you trading? Apex? Or your own? Just your own funds? Good stuff, man. Let's see. Diego. Diego's got liquidity. I don't know if that tagged you in yet. Maybe. No, not quite. Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at, Diego. I don't know if you're on right now, but I was looking at something like that. What's up, guys? What'd you think? I'm at work, so I'll check in later. Dow Jones, 1 hour. Oh, he's playing the big picture. We'll see. So, yeah, right now, it depends on Dow. If, let's say, for example, looking for an entry here now, it'll kind of depend on what this looks like. So, I could be interested. I could be open to buying Dow if we either stay moving sideways and bullish, or if we get higher highs and we stay bullish. TPT is that take profit trader? I just had a company hit me up. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these guys, but I like communicating with you, so you guys know what's good. I had, what is this company called? Oh, it's called Ola Prime. I've never heard of them. Anyone ever hear of them? Ola Prime. I think they could use a better name. They hit me up. They're like, yeah, we can get your community $300K in funding, blah, blah, blah. But I haven't looked into them. But if anyone has, let me know. But probably gonna be another partnership that I reject. I've yet to. I can't. I don't know. I'm not convinced. All right. How are you guys approaching this? This is so sideways. Here, a little zoom out action. Dow here. And remember, we just had Dow Jones sweep all this liquidity. So, shakeout play here. Oh. Had also some... At this point, it would have been, since we broke below these, I would have wanted bearish structure. But we got the pullback, played into this. Looks like it's starting to exchange buyers to sellers. We'll see if that holds or not, but that's what we're starting to see here. S&P still squeezing sideways. Remember, this has been in a downwards trajectory so far as well. There is imbalance down here as well. Here's where here's the same thing with S&P, where we could see a reversal down there. Just keeping, I like to just have all the scenarios considered. Not that they need to happen or anything needs to happen, but I like to just be mindful, be considerate of any sort of possibility with the markets here. And because what we don't want is just to get caught up in our own, oh no, this is how it has to be. So even now, let's say we're seeing NASDAQ start to push down again. These are just chopping up and down. So for me, for a matter of confidence, I would want to see higher highs with Dow to take a buy here, unless we keep just chopping up here for an extended period of time. Because right now we go up, but this isn't really holding up very well at all. See, this is coming right back down. So I wouldn't take a buy here. I would just hold. I would chill. Big chillin'. Wait to trade another day. Or maybe just later. Not another day, but just later. Think about how much liquidity you could take right now. Big sell sweeps up everyone in S buys. Takes out NQ again. How frustrating would that be? You think you got that NQ buy finally, and then just another one. Rip. So, so I am here doing nothing. Yo, I want to see. Give me more stocks ideas, guys. Let me check out some more stocks. Any brokers you guys recommend? CFDs or futures? Do I trade GU if the setup's there? Yeah. Also, guys, for the sake of YouTube stuff, if you guys could hit the like button, that would be awesome. And tell your friends. That would also be awesome. BMNR. Okay. Let's take a look at some other stuff. You came in stocks ready, bro. All right. Interesting. What's good, Paul? What's up with all the stocks plays? What you on? Been in a rabbit hole or what? What's good? All right. Okay, so this is insane. What happened here? All right, so this I know is like blockchain, crypto treasury, etc. I know revenue is picking up on this. They're still at a loss. Earnings are negative. Cash flow is still negative. So they're definitely losing money. So profitability wise, it's not great. Liquidity wise, not great. Burn rate's pretty bad. Revenue growth is very mellow. Yeah. Why do you like this? Yeah, I don't know why this thing just pumped here, but I'm not super dialed in with all this. But yeah, I'm curious on what the perspective on this is. Something in July here, which is someone probably got involved in this. I don't know enough about this, but just based off of like the metrics. But at the end of the day, you know, stocks aren't about how profitable a company is. It comes down to many other factors. How marketable? How do people think it's going to go higher? That's really all it is. Is like, like the price will go up if the consensus is that everyone else thinks it's going to go higher, which is hilarious. All right, hold on. Let me check in here again. All right, still dropping. Okay. Oh, Peter Thiel acquired 9% of this. Okay. That's why. That'll do a pump. That's a crazy ass pump though. Jesus. Anyone that was in this just had such a big ass payday. So Peter Thiel, who, if you guys don't know, he's like a tech billionaire. He, via the Founders Fund, acquired 9.1% of BM&R. Okay. Reposition itself towards accumulating ETH into its corporate treasury. Oh yeah, actually I remember reading about this. The company completed a $250 million private placement fund, acquiring 163,000. So instead of it just being a mining company, now it's a crypto asset treasury vehicle. Interesting. Anyone in this thing just had the biggest payday? All right. Okay, so same as before. For me, it's not really worth being involved in. Cool, Peter Thiel's in this, but like, it just doesn't really matter enough to me at this point. So not something I really care for. There's a lot of red flags with this, so I'd probably have to have it prove itself more. And I think just doing more research will be more useful here. All right, Dow still pushing lower, and Q and ES squeezing. All right, while we have that, QUBT. Took my first ever future trade yesterday with oil. Sick, man. QUBT. All right, cool. Let's take a look at QUBT. Let's alert here. Quantum computing. Okay. So here, obviously, this thing just exploded after going into like elections time, and then it didn't look back. So this is one of those that were. This is a tiny coin, you know, not a coin, but stock. Like this stock was sitting at, like, I don't know, 100 million market cap for a few years. So this is pretty small and kind of coming back to its glory now. Again, I wouldn't take anything here profits, but I could definitely see this rebalance out again and get below $10 here in the future. Not one again that I would take personally myself. I know they've been raising capital. But yeah, it's not like at a price that I personally like right now. In regards to same thing, like this is one of those that are like cash flow, like profitability, just like basically no revenue, just net losses. Yeah, they just raised capital this month, 500 million capital raise, so it does give it some runway for sure. So it's not like in survival mode anyway, but it's just not making money, not a lot of momentum. It's pretty volatile. So yeah, but that just goes to show like these things can have huge rallies like this and just not even be making any money. So, you know, it does cool stuff, but it's just not making money yet. So it's like, okay, is this going to be later on something valuable? But yeah, QUBT at least has better cash reserves. So, I mean, you have that. But to get into a position, I wouldn't yet. All right, Dow pushing down. So now look at the difference, guys, in price action. Now we're seeing Dow Jones, the sell-off after it took liquidity was the biggest factor here. I'm not naturally inclined to take this position on Dow anymore. Just looking at how much NASDAQ here is holding up its end of the deal. Like it's just structure-wise, NASDAQ is significantly holding this much better. S&P as well. S&P is kind of chilling over here, holding up pretty well. So I think if you wanted to take a buy position on something, it looks like NQ is now, after it took the low, failed to make a higher high, but it's just holding demand very, very well. So this could be either one of the situations where NQ is good and then it just starts to run from here, or Dow Jones gets all the way down to here and then it just immediately reverses. So it could kind of go either way. Obviously, we're seeing a massive shift in momentum here after it took out liquidity and then it came back up again. The market then has dumped, so I don't know if anyone caught the short. And then now we're just seeing Dow Jones back where we had a lot of support in the past. So like I said, like this thing could bounce out of here pretty well. Actually, I think I had a limit open. I totally did have a limit open. I did not delete this limit. All right. So, well, there's that. So yeah, looking at price action here, like I mentioned, I think that we have just so like Dow right now, price action wise, is giving us a lot of bearish momentum. So I do think that there's more risk involved because of just how aggressively it's been dropping compared to what it looks like with like NASDAQ and what it's looking like with S&P. So I do feel like we have a good shot at taking a stab at NASDAQ for a player. You could even split your risk and go with something like this instead. So so if you wanted to split your risk across different indices, that would also make a lot of sense in my opinion. But from what we're seeing, like the proof is that Dow is just pretty bearish right now. So If you want to wait for just a completely different opportunities, then definitely be my guest. Because I think right now, Dow just isn't giving enough signs that things can go in its direction. So I would rather take a position on on, let's say, NQ than Dow Jones, just considering, look, now we're seeing that the sweep of the low. So in my opinion, I think, yeah, it looks like a much better opportunity, especially now that it swept these lows. We just saw the sweep of that London low and then getting all the way down to here. Now I think the market could be more prepared to run now that it took out this low. Let's see here. All right. So yeah, let's see what this looks like. We're seeing Dow clear out these lows at the moment, starting to push below this. Makes sense. There's a lot of stops below all of this, so liquidity capture here is pretty much expected to happen. Especially, like I said, once we started to see this dropping more aggressively, it just made more sense. And then I'm sure S&P here is soon to take out these lows. Here we go. Finally. So this is really what I've been waiting for, is to see S&P take out these levels, and then for us to see another trade out of these zones. So yeah, I think we can get a play. Let's see, like S&P just took out this liquidity right there. There we go. London, or Dow Jones now took out these lows as well. All right, so liquidity definitely being taken care of at the moment. I'd say S&P has a bit more to push down, and then from there, I think this would probably green light a NASDAQ buy. All right, we're getting close. Getting close. So let's see here. All right, so just tapped the low. So not quite there yet. Is it going to bounce like that? No. No creo. All right, cool. So now ES is getting below those levels. Just wicked under. And I think now we can start to basically qualify NASDAQ buys again here. So out of here, I think we see reversals. So I'm going to take a buy here on NQ now that we had liquidity sweeps across. US 30 took out tons of liquidity here all over the place to go higher. S&P finally got below that London low, even if it's very, very briefly. Maybe it goes a little bit lower. But, yeah, that sets up for this to kind of be the accumulation of sellers. Here you have tons of entries. So I took a little placement, a buy right there, like right here. Right when it swept, right when S&P hit that alert, I took a position here. And then now I feel like we could see NASDAQ go and take out liquidity up here. All right. Let's see if this thing rips. Will it take out liquidity? That is the question. At least these highs, I think we can clear. And then clearing these sellers right here, this would then position for sure stops to break even. And I mean, even now, like we're already getting a really good rejection. Let's see. All right. Cool. What did you guys decide on doing? Did you guys, anyone take a trade? Did you guys stay out of the markets? Did you kind of understand what I was waiting for, what I was looking at in regards to, you know, S&P sweeping those lows or getting below, you know, triggering some stop losses there, Dow just being patient on, like, since we saw that have that such bearish price action, kind of waiting to see it get below and see if it sets up S&P as well. So are you guys kind of picking up what I'm putting down here? Let's see. Let's check the chat. Where are you buying? Yeah, NQ. Did someone send me another one? Oh, KVUE. Yeah, I could take a look at that. KVUE. All right. Had 2 wins and break even so far. Nothing to rush for. Nice. Hard to follow your market for me anyways. I guess I need more coffee. And also, probably the delay doesn't really help. But yeah, like I was mentioning, sweeping liquidity for because I wasn't sure how this was gonna like happen. So once we saw this take out these lows, and once we saw this getting below here, that's an NQ for me just became qualified. I wanted to see how this played out, so might not be one of the trades that it's easy to follow. Yeah, I was already in. No, I don't need a retest. I don't ever wait for like a retest or anything. I don't really know. I've never mentioned to wait for a retest or anything like that. But the good thing is, and the most important thing is, like, you guys are learning the skill, so you don't necessarily need me all the time. KVUE, Kenview. Yeah, so profitability-wise, I mean, really pretty profitable company. Margins are like 50%. Operating margins. Gross margins like 50. Liquidity is all right. Growth, slow. Yeah, definitely a lot going on because of Tylenol. For sure. Question is, what's the long-term perspective with that? So if we're looking at the chart, this is below, you know, the open from May 2023, which is honestly what you want. You want to get entries below IPOs. So this is, you know, KVUE is a consumer health spinoff from Johnson & Johnson. So like they separated their consumer health business into KVUE. So yeah, they own and sell Tylenol. So they're definitely taking a massive dump. Personally, I've been anti-Tylenols as far as I can remember. So like I just wouldn't buy this, I guess, from a moral standpoint or something. I guess if that makes any difference. So for me, just from that point of view, I wouldn't, if I'm going to detach from my thoughts on the pharmaceutical world and just give like what my thoughts are on this. I don't know. I don't know what kind of world that we're living in. Where is this just the anti-Tylenol, anti-ibuprofen pharmaceutical? I don't know how long that's really going to last. But yeah, I mean, these guys sell like Motrin, Zyrtec, Band-Aid, Listerine. Like they run it up. They got a lot of really good products. So Tylenol is a multi-billion-dollar product. So I don't really know. Like at the end of the day, people do what they do regardless. So you still have like, I just don't, unfortunately, I don't see pharmaceutical companies really taking a massive L forever, or I don't know. We'll see. We'll see kind of how litigation goes. More than likely, this thing will probably rebalance back to, where is my mouse? Well, my shit's frozen. This thing die? All right, hold on. Let me get the backup mouse in here. 1 second. I think that means Nasdaq's going up, if I'm not mistaken. When the Bluetooth mouse just dies on you. That's funny. All right, give me a sec, guys. Where is this thing? So, yeah, I mean, what I'll say now is like MYM rebalancing pretty well right now. You have Nasdaq doing its thing as well. So that's good. That's nice. We like to see it. Some bullish momentum there. I have to find my charger right now. But yeah, NQ taking out liquidity. I would adjust stops if you're in this. Reduce or go break even. Just kind of depends on where you're in this trade. I know you can't see it right now because of because my mouse is dead. It's like one of those things I don't ever really think about charging. It lasts forever. Well, guys, this is it. We're just trapped like this together forever. We're just gonna watch this Tylenol company print, and that's all she wrote. Where is this thing? Let's see. Well, that's hilarious. The end of me was a charger. This is the funniest thing ever. Where the fuck is this charger? You have a USB-C or USB, like the old like Android chargers.
The old Android chargers?
You know what I'm talking about?
No. Let me see.
Oh, I found it. Maybe this thing will charge it. This one, it's ugly ass, a little goofy. It's a micro USB.
I got a longer one here.
But I think this will do the trick. Found a tiny one. I think this is like my drone charger. Oh wait, I'm tripping. This whole time, I didn't need that charger. It's lightning.
Which one is it?
It's lightning charger. Fucking dumb, bro. Crazy. Alright, well, at least it's going in our direction. So that's always good. Alright, so yeah, we're just gonna chop it up, guys. What's up? And then my why is this thing not working? Alright, here we go. Okay. So yeah, NQ right now getting close to clearing out liquidity over here. We had S after it took out those lows make its move to the upside here. Dow Jones obviously after it pumped up, dropping right back down. I don't have any interest in Dow. I'm not involved in anything Dow related right now. So just kind of waiting out and seeing how this thing will continue. I think I'm going to take my profits on NQ basically as it takes out liquidity here into this imbalance. So this is looking like closer to a 4R. Right now, I'm also running completely risk-free on this idea. Would be cool. Maybe Dow plays out of where we have tons of last point of supply here. So this has been pretty strong level. We might see Dow rally from here. I'm not going to take a buy here, but if it does rally, that should also push NQ further up. So that's kind of my my take at the moment. Until you get a headache and you have to go buy some. When you say we trade together or we stuck together, that's so funny. Mike, do you have a DCA zone for render? I thought Nancy spoke about it when she used to go live on Go Live, but I just completely lost track. Render. Yeah, we can take a look at render real quick. I have, what kind of mouse? I don't know. It's like an Apple. It's an Apple mouse. Trump speaks in 8 minutes. It wasn't a mitigation. So honestly, NASDAQ wasn't a typical trade. It was like a shakeout in combination with the fact that we had liquidity captures from New York lows and then S&P took out London lows. So that was kind of the combination of the two. Aaron, hey Mike, I was wondering do you do any how-to videos? I'm still pretty new to trading, mainly how to read candlesticks, understanding liquidity. Yeah, I have a classroom, so I have a school. Join the school. So I'll send the invite here. It's in this description, I think. It should be. So yeah, it's free. Here you go. It's for free, so you're good. Need a solar charger? That's funny. Right. Let's see. Appreciate the love, guys. All right, let's see if this thing charged enough to do something. Let's see. Is this... Because I have the backup mouse, actually. All right. Here we go. Took a little bit out. All right, starting to pump here. He said Trump speaks in a little bit, huh? Not an official one, so let's see. I wonder how much it does. But Trump can do Trump things, so you never really know with Trump what's gonna happen next there. And then let me wrap this up with just taking a look at render. Did render combine with fetch? Was it part of the combination? When like it was like Ocean Protocol. I don't remember. All right, hold on. The Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. Was it Ocean Protocol, Singularity, and Fetch? Okay, so it was renders on its own, right? Okay. I don't remember. Dude, this thing is taking a beating. This squeeze is interesting because this could definitely have an explosive move. I could easily see this thing going up to like $6 in the near future. Dollar cost average now, really. I wouldn't really wait for anything else. Yeah, no, I like where we're at right now. No, that was ICP. What about ICP? Yeah, they all came together. I'm a Washingtonian. I grew up in Washington. What are you talking about? Cool. All right. Core's losing it. Cool, guys. Well, we'll wrap it up there. I mean, this trade's going really well. Guys, I won't be live tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. I know some of our syndicate members are going to be hosting sessions for the community. So they've been through a lot of training, been trading really well. All these trades audited and journaled. So they're going to be hosting some sessions. I know Seth and Joe here are going to be tackling that on. I'm sure there'll be other people kind of co-hosting as well. I'm not exactly sure what days, so I'll let you guys know. I'll drop an update here. But I won't be live tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, so I won't see you guys till next week. I'll be in the community, so I'll be dropping posts and all that good stuff, but I won't personally be hosting any streams myself. So if you do want to be on the streams, make sure you're in the school because they won't be on my YouTube. So they'll be live on the school. So much love, guys. Super hyped. Yeah, Nance and I are getting married on Friday, so we're just doing some, taking the next couple of days to just prepare everything and, enjoy it all. So appreciate the love, guys. Appreciate everything from you guys. We're stoked. We're super, super stoked for all of this. And yeah, if you learned something today, obviously like, subscribe, watch some other videos, go through our school community, go through the classroom, get some more value, get some more information there. And then if you want hands-on work, if you want the personal training of from us, really hands-on work, go through 150 lessons and worksheets, really interactive work, basically have a school curriculum on top of, interactive sessions that we host, just going over trades, our mindset, our psychology, working on behaviors, then scan the code on the right. Free community on the left, personal training for traders on the right. Lock in. So make it happen. The Tradetopia winning. So I'll be back on Monday. Yeah, I'll be back on Monday. So no worries, guys. But I appreciate all of you for just, contributing to the community and making the culture what it is. So it goes a super long way, and definitely don't take it for granted. So much love, y'all. Appreciate it. And we'll see you on, I will see you live on Monday, but stay tuned for all the value. within the community. All right. Shout out to everybody. Peace out, guys.